Once upon a time, there lived a brother and sister named Hansel and Gretel. Their father was a poor woodcutter who hardly earned enough to feed their family. Their wicked stepmother would always complain that the two children ate too much, whereas they would even stay hungry many a night. One night, Gretel heard stepmother whisper to their father,
"Take the children deep into the forest, so far that they won't remember the way back, and then leave them there. We will be better off without them."
For the next 7 nights, Gretel heard their stepmother saying the same thing again and again. Every time their father would protest, but soon his protests began to weaken. Gretel told Hansel what she had heard, but Hansel said,
"Don't worry, we will find our way back."
One day, as Hansel and Gretel had feared, their father said, "Hansel, Gretel, I'm not feeling well today. Please come with me to the forest and help me cut the wood and bring it home." Hansel already had a plan. He filled his pocket with shiny white pebbles before they left with their father. As they went deeper into the forest, Hansel dropped the pebbles one by one behind him. After walking for a long time, Father said to them lovingly, "My dear children, please sit here while I get some water for us to drink. Eat this bread. I saved it for you two from my last night's meal." They sat under a tree as their father went away. They ate the bread and waited for a long time, but their father did not return. When it began to get dark, poor Gretel got really worried. Upon that, Hansel said to her,
Our fear has come true. Father has left us. But don't worry, just hold my hand and follow me. Everything shall be fine.
As they started walking, Hansel followed the pebbles he had dropped, which gleamed in the silvery moonlight and showed them the way. After walking the whole night, they reached their home in the morning. Father was happy to see them. He hugged them and kissed them. But their stepmother shattered the milk bowl in her hand to the ground and stomped away angrily. The following night, Gretel heard their stepmother whisper to their father again.
"Perhaps you did not take them far enough, but you must do it again. And this time, you will leave them further up in the forest."
For the next 7 days, their stepmother harassed their father. Then in the morning, just like before, father asked the children to accompany him. Hansel was prepared. Only this time, instead of pebbles, he had taken with him the bread he had been saving since 1 week. For he had thought, as they would be taken much deeper into the forest, the pebbles won't last. Hansel dropped crumbs of bread behind him as they went into the forest. But Hansel had not thought about the birds in the forest. No sooner than they went ahead, the hungry birds swooped upon the breadcrumbs and finished them. When finally they stopped in the darkest part of the forest, their father gave them some bread to eat and left them, making another excuse. Soon when the night came, Gretel started crying again. Hansel said to her,
Do not cry, Gretel. We will find out way back like the last time.
However, to Hansel's horror, there was not a single crumb of bread to be found. And what's more, there was no moonlight this time. The children sat together under a tree throughout the night, listening to the sounds of fearsome animals bearing with the bitter cold. When the morning came, the two of them started looking for the way. But they were so far away from their home that even after wandering through the forest for the whole day, they could not find the way. Towards the evening, when they were hungry and tired, and it was going to be dark and cold soon, they spotted a beautiful house through the trees. Elated, they ran up to it.
Look, Gretel. This is not an ordinary house. It is made of chocolates.
Said Hansel, breaking a piece from the wall of the house and tasting it.
It is very delicious.
Said Gretel, eating a piece from the window. Just when Gretel was about to eat the doorknob, the door swung open and an ugly woman stepped out.
Oh, what sweet little children!
She said in a voice that was surprisingly kind.
Come inside. Why don't you? Feed you some nice food. I will.
Children at first got scared by the look of the old woman, but then they stepped inside, listening to her sweet voice. But as soon as they stepped in, the old woman, who was actually a cruel witch, put Hansel in a cage and locked the door. Then she held Gretel briskly by her arm and said,
Work for me from now. You will. Or else eat the boy. I will.
Poor Gretel, what would she do but as told? She worked day and night, fetched water from the river and cleaned the floor. Although the witch was very unkind and cruel, she did not starve them. She gave them nice food. The children wondered why. And one day, Gretel found the answer when she heard the witch mutter inside her room.
Fat enough to be cooked is the boy. I shall see.
At once, Gretel understood the witch's plan. She rushed to Hansel's cage and gave him some chicken bones and whispered something into his ear. Shortly, the old witch came to the cage and said,
Your fingers, boy. Show me.
Hansel and Gretel knew that the witch could not see very well. So Hansel cleverly slipped out the bones instead of his fingers. The witch muttered angrily,
Still so thin, he is. Wonder where it goes, all that I feed him.
For many days, the witch kept on checking Hansel's fingers, and Hansel kept on slipping the bones Gretel had given him. Until one day, the witch's patience ended and she said,
Girl, light the oven. Cook and eat the boy, I shall.
Gretel did exactly as she was told. But when she went to the witch, she said,
I tried to light up the oven, but something is wrong. The fire wouldn't start.
Shame on you. Let me see.
said the hasty, impatient witch. And when she leaned before the oven, Gretel gave her a tremendous push from behind. The witch fell right inside the burning oven, and Gretel quickly closed its door. Then she ran to the witch's room to find the key to Hansel's cage. But what a wonder! There she found a huge heap of gold. Gretel freed Hansel, and then the two of them filled as much gold as they could in the big sacks, took big pieces of chocolate from a wall, and left the house. For many days they walked through the forest, eating the chocolate they had taken from the walls of the witch's house. Then one day they heard their father calling them. Hansel, Gretel, where are you? The children ran to their father and they hugged. For a long time, father looked at them. I missed you, Hansel and Gretel. Please forgive me for what I did. But I am not going back to your stepmother again,
We don't have to go back to that house, Father.
said Gretel, smiling.
We are rich now. See how much gold we have.
Said Hansel. The children and their father then built a big house from the gold, which their stepmother did not get to share, and they lived happily ever after.